Hi, Rob Magan with Paramount Construction here. Happy daylight savings time day. I happen to be at our sales model. I got up here nice and early. Had a meeting set up at 9 a.m. and a client canceled because their child is home sick. So I thought I'd get to work, get busy, and try to create some information that will help you out if you are in the market to purchase a new home. So what I put together for you today is I wanted to show you the 3 steps that you really need to take before you buy any tear-down building lot. So if you're in the market and you want to build a new home and you want to buy a building lot, these are the 3 critical steps you've got to take before you put any money at risk on the property. So let me show you what these are real quickly. First, we want to do, or you want to do, a feasibility study. So that is just making sure that the property is buildable. Then before you put any money at risk, you want to lay out a new home and get a price on that new home. And then the third thing you want to do before you put any money at risk buying a property is you want to make sure that you're paying the right fair price for the property. So the way to do that, first thing, the feasibility study, is you want to make sure that you're checking the building lot to make sure you can build exactly what you want to build. So you want to look at zoning, you want to look at the lot coverage ratio, which is how much of the lot that you can actually build on. You want to look at the setbacks. Every municipality, whether it's Arlington, McLean, Bethesda, Washington, D.C., Chevy Chase, Falls Church, all of these municipalities have their own zoning and their own requirements of how far you can move the house towards the side yards, the rear yards, and the front yard. So you definitely want to know what that is. And then you want to double check and look for easements, which are utility companies having the right to access your property, because that would definitely impact what you can build on the property. So you definitely want to check for easements. And then you certainly want to check for burial grounds. So there have been a lot of properties that have made the news the last year where the developer starts building or going through the building process, and then the neighbors come out with claims of burial grounds. Specifically, I think they have a shopping center off Westbard in Bethesda where some neighbor groups have brought that up. So that could definitely impact what you're doing. And then you certainly want to look for floodplains and resource protection areas. So FEMA will designate certain areas that you cannot build on because they tend to flood. And there are different designations for floodplains. So you definitely want to double check the floodplains and the resource protection areas. RPA, Resource Protection Area, is in Arlington County. There's a lot of RPAs there where they're putting restrictions on parts of lots or parts of land to protect the resources. So that's the feasibility study. Then you definitely want to, and this may be an obvious one, but you want to lay out the house, where it's going to sit on the lot, and you want to get a plan created so you know that it's going to work for you. So you want to have a first floor plan, a second floor plan, third floor plan, and a front elevation of what it looks like from the front. This is an example of the plat. We're taking the plat over here on the right corner and actually just quickly laying out a custom plan on the lot. So you definitely want to be able to lay out the plan so you know how large the backyard is going to be. You know, here's the side yard. These are the side yard setbacks. Here's the front yard setback. So you definitely want to have this laid out. And then you certainly, once this is laid out, then you'll be able to actually calculate the exact price to build the house on the lot. And when you get a price on the lot, you certainly want to make sure that price is including all utility connections and includes any site work, any digging, if there's any trees that have to come down. And you want to make sure it includes any excavation or retaining walls, hills that have to get cut, that type of thing. Because it's no fun buying one of these properties and then you get surprised that either maybe your side load garage didn't have enough turning radius, typically you need about 25 feet, by the way, or that you get surprised that you need new utilities you have to pay for, or that there are retaining walls that are needed, and that could be another chunk of money. So you definitely want to have all this figured out before you put any money at risk buying the property. And then the last thing that you want to do before you buy a property is you want to make sure that the property, you want to make sure that you understand what a fair price for the property is. And so the way to do that is you want to go back, a year, 6 months, couple years. It just depends on each neighborhood, and it depends, how much data is available. But you want to go back and see what other properties have sold for, not so much how much they're asking if they're on the market, but actually how much they've actually sold for, so you can see if what you're going to pay on your property is in the right range. And sometimes we would actually pay more than what a seller is asking, depending on how hot or popular that property might be. So these are comparative market analysis. That's what this is. This is an example of just going back, putting the address in, doing the research, seeing when the property closed, checking out, in this case, how big the lots are, and then how much did the land cost, and just checking to see, is what you're going to pay, is that the right number? And so those are, let me come back here. Those are the 3 things that you need to do before you put any money at risk on buying a tear down building lot. Again, a feasibility study to make sure you can build what you want. You want to, let me do this. You want to do this. Here we go. You want to lay out and price a custom home on that lot. Make sure there's no surprises. Make sure you can build what you want to build, and you make sure that all the costs are accounted for, so you know exactly what it's going to cost. And then you definitely want to make sure that you're paying the right price, and that just is pulling sold comps to see what other properties have sold for in that area. If you want us to help you with that, let me see if I can do a little advertisement here. Let's see, how do I do this? Here we go. So if you want us to help you with that, you can have us do a new home strategy call. And let's see, there we go. Fancy technology there. It's always challenging for me to get all these buttons to work. I never know exactly what button does what. But a new home strategy call, I'm happy to jump on the phone with you and brainstorm lot prices, brainstorm financing options, brainstorm design, how the whole process would work. So if you have any questions, go to our website at ParamountConstruction.net, and there'll be some place where you can get a hold of me or sign up for a new home strategy call. Also, if you want, and that's where I'm sitting today, you can swing by our sales model at 5700 Tanglewood Drive in Bethesda. I will be here. It looks like the rest of the day, our open house actually starts at 1 o'clock today, open to the public. But again, I got here a bit early, and I might as well move in here. Right over my shoulder right there is our family room. And actually, I'll give you a little view. That's our coffered ceiling with a pine whitewash, rough sawn pine with a whitewash. We've got a stone fireplace back there. But I'll be here from 1 to 4 today, so swing on by. And I'm happy to answer any questions. We also have another open house today at 5908 Beach Avenue in Bethesda from, I think it's 1 to 3. But swing on by and go to our website. Any questions, give us a call. And I hope this was helpful, going over those 3 steps you must take before you put any money at risk on a new building lot. Thank you. Talk to you soon.